Bro, meet Takamiya, a literal NPC with negative aura who looks incredibly chopped and has the IQ of a soggy French fry. But somehow this absolute bum scored the ultimate RNG by sitting right next to Ayaka, the school's supreme 10-10 goth baddie and chairwoman's daughter. And Bro's pathetic life actually peaks when he fumbles his eraser, prompting this certified top-tier waifu to casually hand it back to him, which instantly triggers her toxic lobby of fangirls to crash out on him. They straight up corner this loser, warning him to stop breathing Ayaka's air or they'll literally put his glizzy in a meat grinder. So later that day, our boy is doing his chore-maxing outside, when he spots the most devious-looking stuffed rabbit chilling in the trash. And upon pulling it out, he finds a cryptic dev note attached claiming the weather is sunny. But there's a high chance of school buildings dropping from the sky. Bro just laughs it off, thinking it's some next-level TikTok brain rot, until a massive shadow suddenly completely eclipses his pathetic existence, and he looks up to see an entire building plummeting toward his dome, making him realize he's about to get packed up without ever touching a baddie. The concrete literally flattens him, supposedly sending this Gooner straight to the isekai lobby. But hold up, because when he opens his eyes, he's actually getting carried by his dominant mommy Ayaka, who is now rocking a straight-up witch skin. This has our soy boy blushing furiously, since it's the first time a female has made physical contact with him since birth. And while he's busy creepily staring at her massive buffs, he doesn't even realize Ayaka is deadlocked onto an enemy player who suddenly snaps her fingers. Out of nowhere, these two terrifying animatronic bunnies try to jump Ayaka, forcing her to yeet Takamiya into the stratosphere so she can perfectly dodge roll and spam fireballs like a sweat. Our useless MC then falls right back into her absolute god-tier assets, feeling like a literal Disney princess. But checking the damage logs, the bunny bots are totally tanking the fire, prompting Ayaka to tell this deadweight to stick to her like glue while she solos the lobby. The moment these metal rats push her, she blasts them with heavy AoE fire magic before switching to melee with her broom. And while Takamiya watches her pop off, the cat-eared op peeks from an alley offering him candy, and Bro literally follows her like a brain-dead NPC. Meanwhile, Ayaka triggers her ultimate fire spell to turn the bots into crispy bacon, only to turn around and realize her escort mission objective has wandered off. Takamiya immediately realizes he took a massive L by walking straight into a gank, as dozens of robot bunnies corner him to deliver the ultimate fade. Bro just shuts his eyes, assuming his simulation is crashing, but the author's plot armor kicks in as Ayaka swoops back to incinerate the whole squad. Still thinking he's tripping off the Zaza, Takamiya calls her beautiful, and she straight up cups his face claiming he's her prince, maximizing his blush stats. But then he notices her perfect hair caught some friendly fire, making him crash out and yell that his garbage existence isn't worth ruining her 10-10 aesthetic. While she's stunned by his pathetic yapping, a surviving bot tries to third-party her, but Takamiya hits the ultimate simp dive and gets absolutely shish kebabbed. As his mommy waifu panics, Bro drops the most cringe loser line before completely logging off. Now radiating absolute negative zero chill, Ayaka buries his face into her legendary plot, vowing to deep fry the entire server for touching her man. She literally starts glowing with final boss aura, unleashing a nuclear AoE blast that wipes the bots, giving the cat girl a window to tactical retreat. Fast forward and Takamiya reboots inside Ayaka's private VIP room, where she confirms that his insane acid trip was 100% reality. She confesses she's been playing Stealth Guardian for him this whole time, which finally explains her stalker-level habit of taking his exact bus and sitting by him. Later, she escorts his useless self home, claiming it's her sworn duty, while Takamiya just trails behind her like the ultimate submissive soy boy. The very next morning, Ayaka flexes on everyone by walking to school with him, absolutely triggering her entire toxic fanbase. And when they hit the classroom, the collective death stare aura is so heavy Takamiya literally sprints to the bathroom to avoid wetting his pants. But he gets spawn-trapped by the school bullies, though before they can pack him up, Ayaka teleports in and they instantly forfeit the match. She adjusts his tie with zero hesitation, announcing to the lobby that she will literally roast anyone who touches him, which absolutely terrorizes the normies. Come lunchtime, Takamiya is forced into her VIP squad, causing her feral fangirls to throw another massive, unhinged tantrum. Unable to handle the social anxiety debuff, Bro physically runs away, only to feel massive guilt for ditching his carry. He somehow wanders right back to the exact same drop spot where he got ganked yesterday, and gets approached by that same catgirl op. She drops her disguise to reveal her true skin, introducing herself as Korashi, a tower witch who is here to permanently abduct his useless self. Right on cue, Ayaka respawns to defend her simp, forcing Korashi to pop her summon skill and flood the zone with her bunny mob army. Before our slow-processing MC can even react, the bots swarm him, and suddenly Ayaka takes a massive critical hit, getting impaled by dozens of spears to save him. Even while looking like a pincushion, she's only stressing over Takamiya's HP, which genuinely tilts him since his own mom wouldn't even do this. Instantly, his deep-rooted mommy issues activate, and he finally decides to stop running away like a certified coward. Freaking out over Ayaka's massive damage, until she casually drops the law that as a fire witch, physical attacks literally deal 0 damage to her. She then triggers a massive nuke to wipe the mob pile, successfully aura farming Korashi's entire squad, and making the op rage quit the server again. But plot twist, Korashi transfers into their school the next day alongside her entire goblin squad of Rin, Kotsu, Mei and Kana, as Ayaka pings them all as enemy witches. The following morning, as Takamiya does the classic anime walk to school, he's busy having an existential crisis over how fast his NPC life got completely hijacked. He's loaded with lore questions for his sugar mommy, but weirdly enough, she actually didn't load into his bus lobby today. While swapping his shoes, he starts overthinking, convinced Ayaka got jumped by the rival clan since her attendance record is normally flawless. But Bro walks into class, only to find Ayaka literally hosting a backyard barbecue, using the enemy witches as the main course. Making him realize his autopilot brain just walked him straight into the wrong server room. Turns out, Ayaka hit him with a mind control cheat code to autopath him to this exact location. Totally tweaking, he asks what the absolute hell is going on, and she claims she's just doing her job since his heart rate spiked around these ops earlier. She explains she didn't mean to miss the bus, but may manage to slip her aggro, so she literally turned the rest of her squad into human kebabs as bait. Being the pacifist soy boy he is, Takamiya begs her to turn off the grill and unplug their mics so he can actually interrogate them. The second she drops the mute ban, Korashi starts mouthing, screaming that they were just trying to vibe on their commute, and Ayaka spawn camped them. She then blames Takamiya for not keeping his unhinged girl in check, making him blush furiously as he stammers that they are literally just classmates. Hearing him deny the ship, Ayaka calmly asks permission to permanently deep-fry Korashi, forcing Takamiya to smash the cancel button. He then politely asks this devious witch why they want a literal bum like him, and Korashi hits a sinister smirk, realizing Ayaka's been gatekeeping the law. She leaks that Ayaka is a workshop witch who's been hiding his IP address, while the tower witches are only trying to harvest his body. And when he asks for clarification, she drops the wildest line, claiming they just want the quote-unquote white stuff inside him. This forces Kana to interject and clarify before our Gooner MC gets extremely demonetized ideas in his head. As Takamiya starts visibly glitching out from panic, Ayaka tries to reset his mental state. But right then, the lights get cut, and Mei speed blitzes the room to straight-up kidnap our useless boy. Before Ayaka can even input a command, Mei throws up an ice wall to block her path, successfully breaking the other 4 witches out of holding. With Mei fleeing with the package, the rest of the squad tries to jump Ayaka, but she literally one-taps them all and effortlessly closes the gap on Mei. Completely cornered, Mei threatens to send Takamiya back to the lobby if Ayaka moves, but our unhinged waifu doubles down, promising 0 damage to her prince. Processing this absolute simp behavior, Mei realizes Ayaka is genuinely down bad for this absolute loser. Meaning she just unlocked the ultimate cheat code to exploit her weakness. She commands her familiar to launch a stealth bite attack on Takamiya's neck, but the second it connects, a massive explosion just absolutely yeets them apart. Mei checks the damage logs and realizes Ayaka miraculously took the bite marks on her own neck, prompting the witch to hit the eject button and skedaddle. The other 4 clowns also scramble away, openly admitting they don't have the stats to deal with Ayaka's broken build. Cut to that evening, and Takamiya wakes up in Ayaka's base yet again, checking his HP and realizing he has 0 bite damage. He turns around to find Ayaka rocking a thick scarf, which she casually blames on doing a random Mikasa Ackerman cosplay. She drops some heavy lore, saying she originally just wanted him to coast through his NPC life with 0 aggro. But since the Tower clan is constantly griefing his server, she has to upgrade his security, even though bro instantly knows she's hiding a major debuff under that scarf. Tired of being the damsel in distress, he demands the full admin logs of what's actually happening, flexing a rare W moment by saying he wants to stop benchwarming and actually dual class into magic, which completely stuns her. Meanwhile, a workshop boss named Chrono is chilling at a cafe with a Tower admin named Kazin, who demands to know why she got forcefully invited to this lobby. Chrono tells her to touch grass and chill since they haven't queued up together in a century, and she just wanted to check the vibe since Kazin runs this server. Kazin aggressively reminds her they are literal ops, but Chrono flexes that they've been mutual since before the faction update even dropped. They start reviewing the VOD of Ayaka stomping the Tower witches, predicting a full-blown server war once Takamiya's coordinates get leaked. Fast forward to the weekend, Takamiya is literally crafting a Sydney Sweeney idol when his sister kicks the door in to say he's got an incoming call. Bro answers to find Ayaka on comms, officially inviting him to link up in the city for an IRL meetup. While waiting at the spawn point, she rolls up looking like an absolute 11 out of 10 baddie, making his anxiety spike because it looks like he's actually on a date. She immediately paths him straight into a sketchy back alley, having our MC sweating bullets wondering if he's about to lose his kidney or something worse. Instead, Ayaka finally drops the massive lore dump, explaining that the witch player base is split into 2 massive syndicates. You've got the Workshop clan on one side and the Tower guild on the other. Workshop mains basically play admin, building safe zones and banning toxic magic use, while the Tower players are pure anarchists who want 0 rules and maximum chaos. She casually mentions the entire server will literally crash and burn if the Tower guild manages to hack his account. But bro's brain is still buffering, completely clueless as to why his level 1 existence is the ultimate prize. She paths him into a cafe where a straight-up unhinged waitress with massive buffs literally belly flops onto their table just to get Ayaka's attention. While Ayaka acts like this NPC doesn't exist, the girl starts yapping that Chrono has loaded into the city alongside her elite sweat squads. And she's low-key panicking that a massive, world-ending raid event is about to trigger in their zone. Ayaka just hits her with the negative aura death stare, making the girl flashback to her last HP-draining punch, so she tells Takamiya to babysit his girl before fleeing. Takamiya's brain finally renders the fact that this freaky waitress is their literal student council president, but Ayaka tells him to ignore the side quest and keep moving. She escorts him into a shopping zone, where some random cute girl inspects his face and instantly realizes he's the exact bounty target printed on her wanted poster. Instantly, she pins our useless Gooner to the floor, right as 2 ops pull up to the scene to jump them. But Ayaka straight up transforms into her final boss skin and packs both of them up with 0 effort, before locking onto a third baddie who starts dumping dual pistol mags at her. Unfortunately for this absolute clown, Ayaka is literally built different and casually catches the bullets barehanded before hitting her with a nuclear explosion, effortlessly carrying Takamiya's pathetic self out of the wreckage. Later, as our boy cries about catching another massive L, Ayaka flat out calls him a certified beta, announcing she's adopting him to carry him through a training arc. She casually drops that the Tower ops are gonna keep spinning his block, making this soy boy question why she doesn't just let his useless NPC self get deleted from the server. But Ayaka just shifts into supreme mommy mode, commanding him to only stress over his exams tomorrow while she handles the actual adult problems. Next thing you know, she drags him straight back to the principal's office, and plot twist, the principal is literally Ayaka's mom, Kazin. After Kazin yells at her daughter for causing a whole public freakout, she officially welcomes our boy into the Workshop clan since he's now Ayaka's personal pet. Fast forward to the next morning, and Korashi's squad tries to crash out on Ayaka again, swearing they're actually gonna kidnap our boy this time. Hearing this absolute cap, Ayaka just tells Takamiya to grab some popcorn and watch a masterclass. These delusional girls try to execute a coordinated jump, but Ayaka literally wipes their whole squad in a millisecond, leaving Takemiya completely flabbergasted. Then we hit the locker room, where the entire school is projecting maximum negative aura onto Takemiya for hogging the #1 waifu. He notices Ayaka's locker is completely empty, assuming it would normally be stuffed with endless simp mail. But Bro opens his own locker only to get absolutely buried under a mountain of paper, which all turn out to be unhinged death threats from her toxic fanbase. As he carries this massive pile of hate mail to class, Ayaka asks if he took notes on her fight, claiming his peanut brain could have leveled up despite the scrap lasting 2 seconds. She then dumps an entire library of law books onto his desk, stating that reading is officially his new grind set. When he cracks one open, she leans in way too close to help his negative IQ self, which immediately makes his little buddy stand at attention, though it quickly retreats back into its shell after sensing the demonic death stares from the entire female cast. Later during gym, the coach announces a tennis arc, and Ayaka immediately tries to queue up with Takemiya. But before Bro can even reject her, the teacher roasts him by saying Ayaka needs to carry a literal trash can to make the match fair. Ayaka leans in, whispering that this is all part of his training, instantly maximizing his blush stats. During the match, Ayaka is out here sweating like prime Serena Williams, while Takemiya literally cannot hit a single ball. When he unavoidably faceplants into the dirt, Ayaka physically picks him up and adjusts his grip, making his simp heart completely explode. By the time the bell rings, Takemiya is mentally and physically cooked, especially since the entire lobby is looking at him like he's catching a massive cancellation. As he waddles to the bus stop with his mommy, expecting some grueling hidden training arc, he gets hit with the ultimate plot twist that they are just going home. Ayaka admits she wanted to run some after-school drills, but he looks like he just gooned for 12 hours straight, so she forces him to touch grass and rest today. While riding the bus, Takemiya yaps about how crazy it is that the principal is a certified witch, and Ayaka drops the bomb that the school is basically infested with them. Suddenly, she notices the bus route literally updated to dead end, and snaps her neck back to find Chrono and her freaky familiar just vibing in the back seats. Ayaka yells at our useless MC to stay put as a devious dark aura swallows the bus, prompting Chrono to stand up and start her villain monologue. Ayaka tries to pop her skills, but her body randomly completely freezes up while Chrono casually flexes some weird canister. She then throws a straight punch at Ayaka's face, but our girl tanks it with 0 damage, which honestly just makes Chrono laugh. Trying to finally be the main character, Takemiya steps up and begs Chrono to take his useless self instead, but Chrono just mocks him, stating Ayaka is basically immortal thanks to her ridiculous plot armor. To prove it, she straight up shanks Takemiya right in the stomach, but when she pulls the blade out, Bro doesn't even have a scratch. But hold up, because Ayaka instantly hits the floor behind him, and he realizes his massive puncture wound literally Bluetooth transferred straight onto her body. Chrono hits him with the ultimate law dump, explaining this cheat code is called damage transfer, meaning any L Takemiya takes gets forwarded straight to Ayaka. She yaps that this Bluetooth damage only connects when they're in the same proximity chat, though there are some random loophole exceptions where the ping drops. She further exposes that Ayaka basically signed a soul contract with some crazy demon locked inside Takemiya, leeching his hidden stats to make herself invincible. In exchange, she has to act as his literal eternal maid, which is why she's so deeply down bad for this absolute bum. Chrono then hands him some sketchy gas station pill, claiming swallowing it will unlock his dormant main character aura and heal Ayaka's fatal wound. Takemiya remembers Ayaka warning him that the entire simulation will crash if the tower ops get his DNA, but Chrono says she doesn't give a single flying fork about the world ending. And she insists he has to pop this edible right now if he wants to save his waifu. When our boy tries to decline the devious offering, she straight up puts the pill in her mouth and lunges in to force feed him via French kiss. But Ayaka refuses to get cucked and burns her remaining stamina to physically shove this menace away. As he catches his bleeding mommy, she tells him to chill out as these crazy glowing tribal tattoos start printing across her skin. She strictly orders Takemiya to close his eyes because she's about to do something extremely demonetized, and he obeys like a good little soy boy. She then literally goes Super Saiyan, mutating into a hulking menace and projecting so much negative aura that Chrono happily admits she got the clip she wanted and skedaddles before the author permanently deletes her. Fast forward, Takemiya dumps Ayaka at the local hospital to respawn, and while she's AFK, he finds the sketchy candy pill Chrono reverse pickpocketed into his jacket. When he finally drags himself home, he locks that devious little treat deep in his drawer so he never has to get tempted. The very next day, Ayaka is back on her feet and immediately forces him to put on a literal witch cosplay. But before the training arc even begins, she pulls out her phone to take 1,000,000 pictures for her massive simp gallery. After thoroughly creeping him out, she tells him this outfit isn't just for looks maxing and orders him to test the physics engine by jumping. Takemiya absolutely launches himself into the stratosphere, and when gravity kicks in, Ayaka effortlessly catches him like a total dominant mommy. She then demands he pick her up, and after almost creaming his pants from the contact, he lifts her up only to realize she literally weighs nothing thanks to her magic robes. Next on the tutorial list is summoning a flying broom, but exactly like everything else in his pathetic life. Takemiya completely fumbles the bag and fails miserably. Suddenly, a bunch of random NPCs walk into the gym, but our boy is shook to his core when he realizes they literally can't perceive him because his outfit acts as an active camo glitch. Once they step outside, Ayaka asks if he's a wuss about heights, and when he caps and says no, she snatches him up and hits the gas on her broomstick. After flexing her aerial drifts, she parks them on top of a massive skyscraper where they just vibe and watch the sunset like a totally normal couple. The vibes are so immaculate that Takemiya literally passes out on her shoulder, only waking up later to frantically apologize for throwing the training session. But Ayaka is just too down bad and reassures him that he actually gained some solid XP today. But right as they're having a moment, his eagle eyes spot a random girl getting pressed in an alleyway, and he immediately wants to play hero. Ayaka hits him with the harsh reality that their terms of service only cover witch-on-witch violence, and they are strictly banned from interfering with regular human server disputes. She tells him to just dial 911 like a normal person, but bro decides today is the day he stops being a cuck, miraculously manifesting his own broom and jumping off the roof. Of course, he instantly starts plummeting to his death, forcing Ayaka to scream the flight manual instructions at him midair. Right before he becomes a human pancake, he yanks the stick and torpedoes straight into the group of girls trying to jump the victim. Naturally, his fragile body gets instantly knocked unconscious on impact, and the muggers surround his limp body, brutally roasting him for thinking he's Harry Potter. But cue the record scratch, because Ayaka spawns directly behind them and instantly deep fries the entire squad, leaving a concussed Takemiya extremely confused. Ayaka then reveals the craziest plot twist. This whole mugging was a staged devious lick just to bait him, and these street rats were actually tower ops the whole time. Meanwhile, in an entirely different location, a legendary tower raid boss named Medusa is locked inside a massive crystal, and some random guard is questioning if she's really dangerous enough to justify this maximum security holding cell. The veteran guard claims the entire server will literally melt if she gets unbanned, but points out she's been AFK for years and is basically just a fancy paperweight at this point. But the second he says that, Medusa hits the most sinister smile, absolutely terrifying the rookie. Before he can even hit the panic button, massive fracture lines start spiderwebbing across the unbreakable crystal. Cut back to Korashi and her discount Powerpuff Girls squad, who are currently melding in a Discord call trying to figure out how to bypass Ayaka's insane defense stats. Suddenly, Rin suggests they just stop trying to fight Ayaka entirely, which immediately triggers the others who think she's just forfeiting the match. While Korashi throws a massive temper tantrum, Rin calmly explains they should just backdoor the objective and solely focus on jumping Takemiya directly. Recognizing that Takemiya is a literal soy-infused beta who couldn't fight a wet paper bag, the girls agree this is a massive W strat. But Korashi pops their bubble by pointing out Ayaka is glued to his hip 24/7 like a crazy stalker. While they're scratching their heads trying to invent a distraction, Chrono suddenly crashes their lobby, offering to drop some high-level coaching on them. The following morning, Takemiya wakes up feeling incredibly cooked, dragging his feet to the kitchen where his mom Komachi is busy spawning breakfast. After giving her a basic NPC greeting, he shuffles into the bathroom, where his little sister Kasumi hits him with a suspiciously sweet smile. Noticing his absolute disaster of a bedhead, she offers to fix it while casually mentioning she needs to interrogate him about something. She brings up that random unknown female who called his phone last Sunday, demanding the caller ID since Kasumi is insanely nosy. Sweating bullets, Takemiya lies through his teeth, claiming it was just a random classmate hyping up some upcoming school festival event. Kasumi acts totally hyped and asks for the itinerary, forcing our boy to start desperately freestyling the most bogus activities on the spot. She then drops the trap card, asking why he sprinted out the door like a madman right after hanging up. And Takemiya just keeps doubling down on his massive cap, genuinely believing his sister has the brainrot capacity to actually fall for this garbage. But the vibe instantly shifts as she drops the fake smile and literally presses a comb against his jugular, demanding to know if he was sneaking out to see Ayaka. Takemiya tries to maintain his poker face, but she hits him with the facts, stating she already knows he's been monopolizing Ayaka's time, which is completely ruining her own clout at school. She physically pins him from behind, promising to release her hostage only if he spits the actual truth. Shaking in his boots, Takemiya blurts out that he's still a complete virgin and he and Ayaka are literally just platonic seatmates. Kasumi immediately detects the cap and promises to literally deep fry his family jewels with her hairdryer if he keeps lying to her face. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Ayaka is doing her morning stroll when the tower ops suddenly pull up for a coordinated gank. Back in the interrogation room, Kasumi admits she simply couldn't fathom how her Zero-Riz brother pulled the school's ultimate baddie, so she stalked him the entire day and caught all his actions in 4K. Takemiya's brain immediately short-circuits, realizing she must have seen the terrifying tower witches attacking him. But before the interrogation can escalate, their mom yells that the food is ready, prompting Kasumi to pause the game and promise a round 2 later. Later, as she stalks him on the walk to school, Takemiya makes a mental vow to gatekeep the whole witch lore from Kasumi to protect her from catching strays. But bro suddenly realizes he's about to miss the bus and activates his sprint, only to instantly eat pavement thanks to an invisible tripwire set by the tower gang. At the exact same time, Mei and her squad have Ayaka surrounded, gloating that they finally hacked the code to her admin-level stats. Realizing Takemiya's Bluetooth damage link is currently out of range, they assume Ayaka is currently more useless than Sakura Haruno and rush in for the kill. Meanwhile, our pathetic MC is busy getting shoved into lockers by the ops, as Korashi violently taunts him that Ayaka is currently getting completely packed up by her squad. She casually drops that Chrono helped them scheme this whole setup to isolate him, but refused to actually jump in because her social battery was completely fried from the last scrap. So Takemiya tries to act tough, begging these ops to leave his waifu alone since he's the bounty target, but these girls literally do not care. But suddenly, 2 of her mechanical bunnies get absolutely styled on as a gigantic, terrifying mechanical bear drops into the lobby. Our useless boy looks up, completely shook to find his own little sister Kasumi piloting the mech, screaming that she'll literally trigger the Shibuya incident if anyone touches her brother. Now Korashi is fully tweaking that her masterclass devious lick got ruined by an Alabama-level brocon, so she spawns her own massive rabbit to start throwing hands right in downtown. At first, Korashi's discount bunny is actually winning the trade. But Kasumi's Freddy Fazbear completely flips the script by delivering a devastating Superman punch straight to its dome. As the bunny op hits the pavement, Kasumi thinks she caught a W until Rin pulls up with her own kaiju-sized monster to crash the party. Completely crashing out, Kasumi activates her cheat codes and literally turns her teddy into the colossal titan, triggering a massive nuke. Meanwhile, server admin Kazane is just vibing in her office until she checks the news and realizes her city just got the Hiroshima 2 update, sending her into a massive panic. Back in the rubble, Korashi and Rin strategically skedaddle, and as Kasumi flexes her save, Takemiya's brain short-circuits realizing his own sister is a certified witch who's aggressively down bad for him. She demands some hardcore gratitude for playing his secret bodyguard for years before Ayaka even loaded into the picture. But hearing his mommy's name just makes Takemiya desperately beg Kasumi to save her. But Kasumi just points at Ayaka, who already packed up the rest of the toxic lobby and is literally just standing there unbothered. Takemiya instantly sprints over to check her status, and when she confirms she's totally fine, this absolute soy boy starts bawling his eyes out because he can't handle losing his dommy mommy. Just then, his aggressively nosy sister stomps over, throwing a massive tantrum because she's the one who literally just saved his pathetic existence. She starts pressing Ayaka, reminding her of their custody agreement where Kasumi gets the brother on weekends, completely mouthing that Ayaka violated the terms last Sunday. After her unhinged yapping session, Kasumi leaks that like 30 tower ops have infiltrated the city for a raid, but Ayaka completely ignores the law dump to casually promise Takemiya she will permanently glue herself to his side. She straight up asks him to pack his bags and move into her base, which completely stunlocks both him and his sister. While they process this, the Star Team Ops are navigating the destroyed map when they randomly bump into Chrono's weird familiar, Sebas. These delusional girls think it's an easy fight, but bro literally packs them up into Christmas ornaments in under a second. Chrono checks the kill feed and realizes she needs to dig up Takemiya's past lore so she can manipulate him into eating that sketchy pill. Right after that, Sebas rolls up with a massive pile of defeated tower witches he just farmed in the streets. Over at the admin base, Kazin gets a priority Discord call from the prison wardens, confirming that Medusa just breached containment. Cut to Takemiya's spawn point, where his own mother Komachi is literally bowing on the floor begging Ayaka to adopt her utterly useless son, completely traumatizing the siblings. Komachi tells them to hold their questions because she's already having a mental breakdown. Dropping the absolute nuke that Ayaka is officially Takemiya's fiancée, making him glitch out while Kasumi throws a generational temper tantrum. The mom then spills the tea, explaining that back in her school days, she was besties with a tomboy named the Dragon Tooth, who just so happens to be Kazin. She admits she and Kazin were basically scissor sisters who totally wanted to get hitched. But since the meta didn't allow it back then, they married random dudes and signed a blood pact to marry their kids off to each other instead. She reveals Kazin called her earlier to cash in the deal, and honestly, she's just thrilled her Zero-Riz son actually bagged Ayaka. Hearing this, Takemiya's anxiety spikes to 1,000,000 because he can't exactly drop the witch war lore on his mom. So he just decides to ride the wave and play along, knowing he'd be an idiot to reject this Tier 1 baddie. But Kasumi is absolutely losing it, screaming at her mom that she refuses to accept this dictatorial cucking. Komachi tells her daughter to touch grass and stop obsessing over her brother like he's her personal servant. And when Kasumi refuses to back down, the mom literally puts her in a WWE submission hold, giving Takemiya the perfect window to grab his loot and evacuate. While riding shotgun, he hits Ayaka with an awkward apology for his family's absolute brainrot behavior, but she totally brushes it off. She asks if he's genuinely cool with being her live-in husband, and this massive simp instantly agrees, admitting there isn't a single Gooner on Earth who would reject this massive W. He adds that her aura feels insanely comforting, almost like they had some secret co-op history back in the day. Ayaka confirms the lore goes deep, but she can't drop the exact details because her own hard drive has been wiped and her memories are completely corrupted. She suspects some admin purposely tampered with their save files, but promises that even without the full backstory, she's locked in on her quest to protect him. They eventually pull up to Ayaka's personal whip, a massive stretch limo, making Takemiya realize his goth mommy is actually loaded with infinite paper. They arrive at Ayaka's base, which is literally a personal Burj Khalifa swarming with hundreds of NPC maids ready to serve. But the moment they take the elevator up to the VIP suite, they get spawn camped by Medusa herself, so Ayaka instantly orders Takemiya to hit the 12th floor while she handles the raid boss. After she locks her boy out of the room, Medusa tells her to start praying, but Ayaka just activates her glowing witch skin and vows to protect her simp at all costs. The two absolute menaces instantly start throwing heavy hands, while Takemiya refuses to just sit in the lobby because he knows Ayaka needs his buff to unlock her max potential. So our boy throws on his goofy witch cosplay right as the elevator doors get completely obliterated by the crossfire. He steps out only to find his invincible mommy laid out on the floor, sprinting over to check her damage. She claims she's chilling, and even Medusa is starting to realize Ayaka's plot armor is literally unbreakable. Ayaka commands Takemiya to hit the eject button and flee, but when he tries to act tough and join the scrap, she harshly reminds him he's literally a level 1 NPC. Out of nowhere, Medusa pops her ultimate ability, and Ayaka's entire body literally turns into solid stone, prompting Takemiya to crash out and beg Medusa to petrify him instead. But Medusa calls him an idiot, explaining their souls are tied to the same account. So he has to figure out a way to break the crowd control himself. That's when his single brain cell remembers the super sketchy candy Chrono slipped him, and he debates popping it even though it's 100% a trap. Having zero other options, he swallows the pill like a good little Gooner, and instantly a legendary white princess named Evermillion manifests right in front of them. When Medusa tries to rush her, Evermillion just smirks and drops a tactical nuke that completely vaporizes the top half of the skyscraper. Principal Kazane is watching from across the map, absolutely losing her mind as she witnesses her multi-million-dollar real estate get turned to dust. Meanwhile, Korashi's squad is chilling in their school base when Rin reports the explosion, right as flaming debris crashes through their ceiling and wipes their club room. Now completely homeless, Kazane is malding beyond belief, ordering her familiar to ping every single workshop player in the city for a massive raid on Medusa. Back at the wreckage, Evermillion is proudly admiring her destructive griefing, while Takemiya is having a full-blown panic attack over the property damage, literally yapping his head off. She tells his useless self to shut up and focus on the main quest, which is rebooting his petrified girlfriend. He desperately asks if she has the unpetrify spell, and she confirms she does, but it's gonna cost a massive fee. She jokingly threatens to harvest his actual eyeballs as payment, and when this absolute simp instantly agrees, she realizes he's completely brain-dead and says she won't take his body parts. Instead, she leans in and whispers the real objective into his ear, which leaves him completely shook. When he hesitates to do the extremely freaky task, she brutally roasts him, claiming his lack of riz is the exact reason Ayaka caught the stone debuff in the first place. She drops the lore that Medusa's real stats are still sealed, meaning this stone effect is just a cheap knockoff spell. She exposes that Ayaka is way too op to lose to a scrub like Medusa, and she only got folded because Takemiya's negative aura made him lose faith in her carry potential. Now he has to lock in and reignite his belief to buff her stats, but before our boy can even process this, he sees Medusa respawning from the rubble. Having done her job, Evermillion logs off, warning him that the first seal is broken and she'll be back for part 2. Medusa immediately lunges for him. But Takemiya finally stops being a beta, follows Evermillion's guide, and plants a massive kiss right on Ayaka's cheek to cleanse the debuff. Instantly defrosted, Ayaka scoops her useless boy up and proceeds to relentlessly aura farm Medusa into the dirt. But bro's weak hardware can't handle the stress, and he completely passes out, eventually rebooting in the school nurse's office with Ayaka by his bed. He instantly hits the panic button asking if she's safe, dropping a massive sigh of relief when she nods yes. He copes by asking if that whole Medusa raid was just a hyper-realistic nightmare. But Ayaka aggressively ruins his denial by pulling the curtain back to reveal Medusa literally chilling in the next bed. Takemiya's anxiety spikes to max level, but Ayaka tells him to chill, promising the final boss is permanently pacified and she'll drop the lore dump later. She then tells him to lean in, and the moment he does, she hits him with a point-blank kiss on the cheek, leaving him utterly flabbergasted. She claims she's just returning his W-Riz from earlier, strictly commanding him to never offer up his eyeballs or catch an L for her sake again. Meanwhile, back at his original spawn, his mom is aggressively sobbing because her son moved out, while Kasumi awkwardly tries to do damage control. Suddenly, the emergency hotline rings, summoning them for an absolute server-wide crisis meeting. Instantly, the entire tower faction spawns into the schoolyard, and Takemiya is shook to realize half the student body are literal ops in disguise. With Ayaka's penthouse completely deleted, our boy returns to his mom's house, awkwardly announcing that he and his baddie are moving back into his childhood bedroom. Cut to the next morning, Kasumi returns from a grueling graveyard shift, complaining that Medusa is completely off the radar. but she's low-key celebrating the fact that Ayaka's base got griefed and her brother is back in her territory. However, her happiness gets instantly shattered when she kicks his door open only to catch Ayaka trying to get absolutely freaky with her brother. During breakfast, Kasumi is malding out of her mind, demanding to know why this goth menace is eating their pancakes. But when their mom questions her all-night disappearance, Kasumi completely crashes out and blames her mother for this entire cursed timeline. Takamiya orders his sister to stop being toxic and apologize, but the damage is done and Komachi is already entering a deep depression arc. Realizing she took a massive L, Kasumi forces an apology and calls a temporary ceasefire with Ayaka. Soon after, Takamiya heads to school, completely oblivious that Ayaka's unhinged fan club and the student council admins are actively plotting to permaban him. The council president is demanding a status report, and a member named Huzuki leaks that Ayaka has been cock-blocking them from bullying Takamiya. Another NPC named Heyo tries to de-escalate, but the president goes nuclear on her and the club's staff sponsor Mikage-sensei. She calls him an absolute fraud and threatens to revoke his admin privileges if he doesn't start producing results. Right after that toxic meeting, Takamiya and Ayaka load into the school map, and Mikage intercepts them claiming he needs to drop some mandatory quest info. He drags them to the science lab and straight up tells Takamiya he is ruining the school's entire vibe. He drops the law that during the cultural festival, the student body basically runs a popularity poll to elect the most op student to be the face of the school. And whoever wins gets ultimate clout. The winners are literally crowned prince or princess, and since Ayaka took the W last year, she is officially the school's reigning royalty. He then hits Takamiya with the hard truth, asking what happens to her top-tier aesthetic when the forums start spreading rumors that she's doing side quests with a known loser. He insists Ayaka is server property and orders him to unfriend her immediately. But Ayaka instantly claps back, declaring that absolutely no one can break their duo queue. Mikage actually agrees with her flex, admitting the top student basically has owner perms, but cries that if he doesn't force a breakup, the council will literally terminate his employment. Ayaka drops a massive flex, suggesting she just manually end the complaints about their duo queue, and Mikage is hyped that she actually has a strat. But plot twist, Bro randomly pulls out this sketchy vial, smashing it into the floor and instantly teleporting Takamiya into some goofy cartoon server. Our useless Gooner instantly starts tweaking about Ayaka's HP, but Mikage tells him to chill, claiming she's AFK but safe and orders him to take a seat. This absolute menace then pulls out a literal clone of the sketchy pill Takamiya ate earlier, officially summoning Evermillion back to the lobby. He hits him with the ultimate law drop. Takamiya's weak hardware actually has 5 admin seals keeping Evermillion locked in the files. But that stupid candy he swallowed completely corrupted one of the seals, which is basically guaranteed to make Kazane crash out on them. He explains Kazane is a legitimately broken S-tier witch who was explicitly hired to monitor Takamiya's account, and he's only allowed to live if his firewalls stay intact. Now that the first seal is gone, Mikage predicts the rest of his security is gonna completely collapse, and the only way to patch Evermillion is to permaban Takamiya. The catch is, only Kazane has the admin perms to execute the ban, but she's currently too busy sweating the Medusa raid to check the server logs. He claims he's just trying to play support and offers to replace Ayaka as his main carry, but right on cue, she literally breaches his domain and instantly pins him. After folding this clown, she yanks Takamiya aside, getting way too close to his face just to check his stats. Then she drags his useless self straight to the broadcast room, ordering him to ping the entire school server for a mandatory emergency meeting. Once the whole lobby loads into the auditorium, Ayaka takes the mic, dropping some heavy lore that ever since she got crowned princess, she's kept her mic muted. But she admits that playing silent protagonist caused massive miscoms, and she's here to finally clear the chat. First off, she casually abuses her admin privileges to instantly fire the current student council president, promoting Takamiya to the head admin role. Takamiya starts visibly glitching out because she just painted a massive target on his back, but Ayaka insists she buffed his rank so nobody can grief him anymore. Later, she hosts a mandatory council Discord call where Takamiya gets introduced to the mods, revealing Ayaka is officially his new vice president. Turns out, Ayaka hit the ultimate devious lick by bribing Heyo with her literal gamer girl bathwater to secure the VP slot. When one of the random NPCs questions Ayaka's toxic leadership, she literally hands Takemiya a pre-written script to brutally roast the girl, but our beta MC refuses to read it, terrified of catching a ban. He completely folds, announcing he didn't even want this role, begging the lobby to just judge his actual gameplay, promising to hit the eject button if his stats are trash. Later, while he's awkwardly walking with his baddie, Kasumi spots them from across the map and decides it's time to grief Ayaka. While they're browsing a toy store, Kasumi executes a flawless stealth takedown, kidnapping her brother and hitting Ayaka with a straight-up tranquilizer dart. Next thing you know, she literally hijacks a plane, telling Takemiya they're changing servers and migrating to a completely new region to avoid aggro. Turns out, Kasumi was eavesdropping on Mikage's lore dump and knows Kazin is about to become a raid boss, so she's trying to extract him before the event starts. When Takemiya questions how they'll patch his broken seals, she literally claims her weird sister complex energy will somehow fix his code. But right on cue, Ayaka respawns and completely crashes their escape attempt, riding a literal dragon while spamming massive laser beams at their plane. Takemiya begs his sister to hit the surrender button before they get totally vaporized, but Kasumi doubles down, pushing the plane's engine to maximum overdrive. But she completely fumbles her piloting check, flying straight into the Twin Towers, forcing Ayaka to dive-bomb through the explosion to catch them both mid-air. Cut to Takemiya waking up back in his own spawn room, with Ayaka assuring him Kasumi survived the crash and is AFK in her own bed. He tries to apologize for his sister's unhinged crashing out, but Ayaka admits she low-key respects Kasumi's toxic dedication and decides she wants to dual-class into the little sister role too. Bro instantly rejects this, claiming she radiates way too much dommy-mommy energy and belongs in the older sister tier, prompting her to demand he call her One-chan. Once he awkwardly says it, she relentlessly trolls him until her social battery dies and she literally falls asleep in his bed. Takemiya checks his inventory and realizes the peace-offering toy he bought to stop their beef got completely destroyed in the plane crash. Just then, Kazin drops a voice message in the family group chat announcing she's pulling up to their base, which instantly snaps Komachi out of her depression arc. Later, the mom gathers both siblings to drop a generational bombshell. She had a secret affair before marriage, spawning a secret child she stashed with a random relative. The siblings completely lose their minds at this insane lore, but the mom doubles the damage by announcing this secret sibling is literally on their way over. She then reveals the sibling is none other than Ayaka herself, sending Kasumi into absolute celebration because now Ayaka legally can't steal her brother's V-card. But hold up, because this entire unhinged sequence was literally just a fever dream, and Takemiya wakes up to find Ayaka casually cooking breakfast in his kitchen. Still traumatized by the dream lore, he nervously asks if she's secretly his blood relative. And she tells him to touch grass and use her normal name if the sister roleplay is giving him a panic attack. She then flexes her culinary stats by dropping a 5-star breakfast on the table, telling him to sit down so they can co-op the meal. When he questions where his actual family went, she lies and says they had early shifts, while in reality, Komachi forcefully dragged Kasumi to hang out with Kazin just to give these two some alone time. After they finish eating, they transition to the dishwashing minigame. And when he asks why she's still wearing her basic school skin, she casually reminds him her entire cosmetic inventory got nuked along with her house. While scrubbing plates, Takemiya realizes how insanely surreal it is to be doing chores with a certified 10/10 waifu, totally oblivious that Korashi's toxic squad is currently spectating them. See, Ayaka actually gave them temporary base access, letting them camp in a spare room alongside their raid boss Medusa. But when Ayaka dropped the strict rule that they couldn't leave spawn without permission, Korashi threw a massive tantrum about her player agency being restricted. Surprisingly, Medusa totally accepted the terms, admitting she got fairly outplayed and follows the unwritten rule of submitting to higher-ranked players. Plus, she warned her squad that catching Kazin's aggro right now would be an instant game over, ordering them to strictly play stealth and gather intel. But the second Medusa goes AFK to sleep. These absolute clowns completely ignore the strat, sneaking out to execute a rogue kidnap mission just to farm some clout with their boss. Tragically for them, while Takemiya was snoozing, Ayaka was basically acting as a human security camera, forcing the ops to wait for her to log off. But Ayaka's stamina bar is infinite, and she stayed awake the entire night, causing the ambush squad to accidentally fall asleep themselves. The next morning, Takemiya, screaming from his fever dream, accidentally acted as their alarm clock, and they've been creeping on his every move since. Later, as Takemiya is forced to grind math homework with Ayaka, he calls out this garbage training arc, complaining he signed up to dual-wield magic, not do algebra. Ayaka shoots him down, claiming the actual combat zones are way too high level for his weak stats, making him realize he's literally gained 0 XP since this whole thing started. He realizes if he keeps playing like an NPC, he's just gonna permanently rely on her to carry him, so he begs her to drop the textbooks and teach him an actual skill. But Ayaka brutally roasts his intelligence, threatening that if he doesn't pass his exams, he won't have the stats to queue into the same university server as her, which absolutely terrifies him. Suddenly, a random rain event triggers, sending Takemiya scrambling outside to save their gear from the weather. Right as he gets soaked, Komachi's squad returns from their outing, so Ayaka orders him into the bathroom to dry off before he catches a debuff. While Komachi gifts Ayaka some fresh new cosmetics, Takemiya exits the bathroom straight into Korashi's squad, who finally attempt their botched kidnap strat. But they cause way too much noise, instantly drawing Kazin's aggro. The admin realizes Komachi and Kasumi already left the zone, and immediately pings Ayaka for backup to secure the kills. But plot twist, Ayaka straight up betrays her own mom, physically blocking Kazin and announcing she won't let her touch these absolute bimbos. Completely stun-locked by this treason, Kazin realizes Ayaka is hiding some insane law and demands Takemiya issue a command since Ayaka only responds to his inputs. In that split second, our boy remembers Mikige's warning and makes the galaxy brain play to side with Ayaka and protect the Medusa secret. Right then, Ayaka uses a forbidden technique, calling Medusa and literally fusing their character models together. But the second Medusa sinks her teeth into Ayaka, Takemiya completely blacks out. His brain immediately loads into a flashback cutscene, revealing that after Ayaka initially stomped Medusa, the raid boss offered her head as a trophy for Kazin. But Ayaka dragged her to the nurse's office instead, proposing a secret alliance to farm enough power to protect Takemiya from Kazin's incoming admin sweep. Medusa instantly smashed the accept button, leading to their current fused state where they share a single health bar. Witnessing this, Kazin connects the dots, realizing Medusa wasn't trying to steal Evermillion at all, but was actually trying to pass on her legacy to a flawless player like Ayaka. Refusing to accept this broken meta, Kazin launches an attack, only to instantly get hit with a petrification debuff, turning solid stone as Ayaka flexes and walks away. But Kazin just uses a cleanse, breaks the stone, and completely one-taps Ayaka into unconsciousness. She brutally explains that by activating the fusion skill, Ayaka essentially unequipped her invincible plot armor that was linked to Takemiya. She drops the law that Evermillion absolutely despises corrupted code, and permanently cut Ayaka's power supply the second she merged with a tower boss. Hearing his girl take a massive L, Takemiya tries to trigger his main character awakening to save her, but his code glitches, swapping their hitboxes, and he ends up catching a mean slap straight to the face. When he finally reboots, he realizes he's trapped inside an unglitchable admin prison cell. Ayaka drops the bad news that Kazin violently uninstalled Medusa from her system, and is currently running a brutal interrogation, meaning Takemiya's broken firewall secret is officially leaked to the server admins. And Kazin is absolutely not gonna let that slide. Ayaka admits Kazin's stats are just way too high to counter, and owns up to taking a massive L by getting sloppy. But despite admitting defeat, she literally suffocates him with her legendary assets and casually suggests they just try to 2v1 her anyway. Our boy starts sweating, reminding her that Kazin is literally out of their league. When she asks for his strat, he immediately suggests copying Kasumi's coward technique and just logging out of the server completely. Ayaka instantly vetoes this beta mindset, declaring that he shouldn't have to play stealth mode just because some op demon got forcibly installed into his hardware. She fiercely vows to keep grinding matches until he can live like a normal player, and Takamiya just accepts her carry like the ultimate submissive soy boy he is. Meanwhile, Kazin is just chilling in a Discord call with Chrono. But when Chrono asks for a Medusa status update, Kazin completely loses her mind. She aggressively rants that while she was escorting Medusa to the interrogation room, 2 random workshop admins from a totally different server crashed the lobby. These 2 ops claimed they had the official perms to permanently vault Medusa, and completely ignored Kazin begging for just 5 minutes to extract the law, kidnapping the boss right out of her hands. This means Kazin's database still hasn't updated to show Takamiya's broken seals, and she literally let his goon squad walk free since they were basically zero-threat NPCs. She tries to cope by saying the server is finally peaceful, only for the entire school map to randomly detonate. Turns out, Ayaka bypassed the prison's code and literally nuked her way out of containment. But as Ayaka preps her ultimate attacks to fight her mom, Kazin hits them with the ultimate anticlimax, claiming there's zero reason to PvP since she's still clueless about Takamiya's corrupted firewalls. Later, as Takamiya does the classic walk of shame home with Ayaka, he thinks back to how they actually hacked the prison cell. Ayaka explained that when he kissed her earlier, she received a massive stat buff, theorizing her mana regen is directly tied to his Riz levels. So to maximize her buffs, she literally forced him to lay on her lap while she cleaned his ears, farming enough degenerate energy to shatter the prison entirely. Seconds later, they teleport back home, and Komachi introduces them to the new squad members joining the household. When Ayaka finally loads into the school server, Kazin pings 2 girls, Heiyo and Hyuzuki, to help this goth mommy get her bearings. But these NPCs completely fumbled their alarm clock and had to hit a full-blown Olympic sprint because they overslept like absolute casuals. Once they finally arrived, the entire lobby was stun-locked by how top-tier Ayaka looked, and within seconds, every group chat was blowing up about her. When the teacher started roll call, Ayaka didn't even realize she had to confirm her presence, and later during tennis class, she was basically AFK and not even swinging at the ball. Then in class, Mikage asked her to solve a problem on the board, but she just sat there with zero movement until Hyuzuki practically forced her to get up and show off her high-level stats. During lunch, the girls genuinely wondered if Ayaka grew up watching Cocomelon because her social skills were straight-up lagging. But before she could even drop a response, a whole bandwagon of basic girls appeared to try and clout farm by having lunch with her. In response, Ayaka just stood up and walked away with 0 words, leaving them all on read in real life. Later in the library, Hyuzuki told her she absolutely needs to socialize or her reputation will take a massive L, but Ayaka ignored her so hard that Hyuzuki got tilted and started reading manga instead. However, Heiyo just smirked, knowing that soon everyone would realize that even if the whole school became their friend, the real W was only found by side-questing with Ayaka. A few days later, Ayaka scored the highest grade in class and was immediately targeted by the school's mid-tier emo girls. They cornered the trio in a devious alley to punish them for stealing the spotlight, but Ayaka just used her fire hacks to knock them out before they could even finish their dialogue. Later on the train, Hyuzuki asked why Ayaka ditched the library, but she just kept her mic muted and led them to a completely different school campus. There she camped by the gate waiting for a specific player, but even after hours of waiting, that person never logged on. For the next few weeks, the girls took Ayaka to girly spots so she could finally open up, but she just kept exploring different school maps looking for that one specific guy. Over time, she became the most legendary girl in school and secured the princess title, yet she never stopped searching for her long-lost teammate. Then in the second year, she finally located her target, and it turned out to be our favorite Zero Riz protagonist, Takamiya. As she ran towards him, she saw him getting all cozy with Kasumi and mistakenly thought he already had a baddie on his arm. In the present, she wakes Takamiya up, and he smiles because he just witnessed her origin story in a weird dream sequence. Meanwhile, Kasumi wakes up with a massive headache and heads to the kitchen, where Korashi and the other witches are busy cluttering up the room. She decides to help her mother with the cooking, but Komachi asks her to go wake up Takamiya because he's still AFK in his room. She excitedly sprints to his door, only to find Ayaka cosplaying as a suspiciously freaky nurse. Takemiya tries to claim she was just doing a routine physical exam, but Kasumi has seen enough in 4K and officially loses all respect for her big brother's character. During breakfast, she scolds him for trying to lose his V-card without her permission, and even on the walk to school, she sticks to him like glue to keep the cockblock active. Ayaka then warns him that he's strictly forbidden from using his powers again, or else more of his admin seals are going to snap. At school, Takemiya's locker is overflowing with hate mail, and even in class, he manages to look like a total clown just by existing in the background. After class, he hears a massive riot in the halls and finds the entire school turning into a mini version of a toxic GTA lobby. As he wonders what the hell is happening, Ayaka explains that this is a full-scale protest against his leadership since he's the new student council president. Just then, a rebel player injures Heyo, and as he checks her health bar, he gets a message from the rebel leader Renon, inviting him to the gym for a 1v1 this afternoon. At this, Heyo leaks that while she was working her part-time job, she saw the former president talking to Renon. The old president fed Renon a fake story about Takemiya assaulting her. And that's the exact reason Renon started this unhinged protest. Hearing this, Ayaka tells him not to tweak because his dominant mommy is going to handle the situation. She explains that Renon is a certified delinquent menace who once folded a tiger with her bare hands. Takemiya worries that Kazin will be tilted by the riot, only to find out she's out of town and Chrono is acting as the temporary server admin. That afternoon, Takemiya decides to face Renon, and Ayaka gives him a secret cheat code on how to secure the win. Later, as he steps into the gym, he's horrified to find dozens of students waiting for him to get his cake baked by the delinquent. He tries to use his speech stats to talk it out, but Renon refuses to listen and starts beating him like he owes her money. Takemiya just tanks the hits without fighting back because Ayaka told him Renon always finishes her combos with a predictable straight punch. With this meta-knowledge, Takemiya manages to dodge the hit and pin her to the floor, yet he still refuses to actually punch her. In response, she knocks Takemiya outright as the power gets cut, and Ayaka appears to beat the living soul out of Renon for touching her man. She then tends to Takemiya's wounds as the lights come back on, causing everyone to cheer for him because they can't see the invisible witches doing the real work. Later, Ayaka tells the former president she'll be forgiven if she publicly admits she was capping about the assault. But Renon starts chasing her down anyway after realizing she was played like a fiddle. Suddenly at school, Takemiya is being treated like a hero for defeating the school's strongest delinquent. Later, the old president meets with the council girls and reveals she actually told Renon the story was fake. But Renon didn't care because she was determined to catch Takemiya lacking anyway. The girl starts crying, thinking Ayaka hates her now, but Heyo reminds her that she once stole Ayaka's clothes and creamed all over them. Yet they're still besties. Hyuzuki says she did something equally unhinged, but Ayaka wasn't upset, meaning she'll probably forgive this devious lick too. The next day, Takemiya wakes up looking like he lost a fight with a lawnmower, and Ayaka tells him to rest before they start his actual combat training. A few days later, she takes him to a skyscraper roof for the dramatic aesthetic, where he asks why she finally changed her mind about training him. Ayaka says she knows he's hiding a secret grind, and Takemiya admits he's been training with Kasumi behind her back. She hits him for being sneaky, and then channels her mana to show him how to manifest his own magic. She tells him to relax his shoulders and starts whispering in his ear, which immediately makes Takemiya's little soldier stand at attention. With all the blood rushing to his south pole, Takemiya loses his focus and screams at Ayaka to stop being so damn close to him. When he starts complaining, she summons a fire spirit for a training match, promising its attacks won't actually delete his health bar. As the scrap starts, Takemiya gets absolutely overwhelmed, but Ayaka tells him to stop being a beta and finally summon his familiar. Despite the pep talk, Takemiya gets folded hard, so Ayaka has to step in and end the session. She suggests they quit because he got a tiny scrape on his elbow, but Takemiya insists on keeping the grind going. Hearing this, Ayaka just picks him up and tells him to summon something that flies right before yeeting him off the building. As he free falls to his death, she follows him on her broom, telling him to focus his energy. Meanwhile, Medusa's underlings are in a gym nearby, and Korashi is hoping to get jacked by lifting weights. However, the second she starts her set, she slips and breaks a toenail like a total klutz. At the same time, Takemiya is seconds away from becoming a pancake, but a massive explosion occurs right on top of Korashi and the squad. After the smoke clears, Takemiya finds himself sitting on a giant Ayaka-shaped spirit, and she tells him he's the one who summoned this beast. Seeing the spirit's miniskirt, he goes into a full panic because the familiar is a literal reflection of his degenerate inner thoughts. Just then, the spirit starts smacking a nearby building where Chrono is having coffee with Mikage. They see the giant spirit and realize another admin seal on Takemiya has been broken, and now they just have to wait for Evermillion to fully install. Mikage asks what Kazin has been doing this whole time, but Chrono says she's completely off the grid. Kazin is actually in the sewers where Rinnon finds her, and they decide to light up a cigarette together. They both look up at a creepy magic circle glowing on the wall. When Rinnon asks what the hell that is, Kazin tells her it's better for her mental health if she stays clueless. Rinnon then leaks that a witch called the Messenger showed up and claimed she's taken the whole town hostage. Meanwhile, Takemiya wakes up after passing out and asks if she only started the training because of his scrap with Rinnon. He admits he felt some weird power back then, and he also realizes the whole school riot was a staged event to boost his clout. Back then, the president told them Rinnon wasn't in on the plan, meaning she was actually going to beat Takemiya's ass for real. But Ayaka ran onto the stage and folded Rinnon, making Takemiya look like the champion and skyrocketing his popularity. In the present, Takemiya thanks Ayaka for the carry, but she tells him he needs to lock in for school now. Takemiya wants to keep the combat grind going, but she disagrees, thinking back to the dreams she had before meeting him. In those dreams, Takemiya told her that once they were at the same school, they would sit together every day and make new friends. At that time, Ayaka had zero memories, so she decided to find him in the real world and make that dream a reality. She tells him finals are next week, and he better start study maxing immediately. The following week, after the family breakfast, Takemiya wishes Ayaka good luck on their exam. Meanwhile, Kazin gets a surprise visit from a witch named Weekend, and Kazin is shook that she actually showed her face. They start talking about those magic circles, and Kazin says she saw them during the Great War. They're basically weapons that delete both friends and enemies alike. Weekend confirms she can blow the entire city off the map, so Kazin tries to negotiate, only to realize Weekend has zero chill and is just here for the chaos. She explains that the workshop later uses all her mana to keep ordinary humans safe during these witch wars. However, that magic gets weaker every time a human is protected, and Weekend wonders if Kazin can handle protecting the entire city at once. Before Kazin can react, Weekend hits a tactical retreat and immediately triggers the bombs. As the city starts collapsing, Kazin's mana completely drains and she falls to the floor. While the school building starts shaking and everyone is running for their lives, Takemiya and Ayaka are still inside trying to finish their exam like absolute nerds. But when the building starts crumbling, she grabs Takemiya's hand and they skedaddle out of there. At the same time, Kazin's magic is officially at zero, and she gets taken hostage by the Tower Witches. As Ayaka leads Takemiya into a network of tunnels, Weekend tells Kazin she's going to need a full week to recover her stats. Soon after, Jaka and Takemiya arrive at a massive underground arena, and Kasumi immediately runs to hug her brother. Rinnon then welcomes him to their secret base, putting aside their past beef because she knows it was just a massive misunderstanding. She then introduces him to their leader Natsume and a grumpy emo swordswoman named Atori. Takemiya asks what the hell happened to the city, and Natsume tells him that one of Mikage's experiments went wrong and caused the explosion. Then she immediately starts blasting at him, and Ayaka has to jump into action to take her down. Bro's pathetic health bar is basically shared, so all the damage he just tanked Bluetooth transfers straight to Ayaka, making her collapse before she can finish the job. As Rinnon's squad starts their toxic gank, Takemiya scoops up his waifu and takes a massive sigh of relief seeing she's just temporarily AFK. Kasumi tries to act like a main character to defend them, but Rinnon one-taps her into a nap and orders our boy to follow her into the depths. She drags him into the underground basement, yapping that she can't drop the law dump yet, but he needs to trust her process for now. After that, she locks him and Ayaka in a dungeon cell, promising to bake his cakes if he tries to hit the eject button before the door slams shut. While stuck in the lobby, Takemiya realizes the tower ops must have hit the city with a devious lick, and he's being stashed in a safe house because he's the main objective. He tries to use his broom to glitch out, but Ayaka wakes up and informs him that this room has a permanent silence debuff on all magic. He asks for a status update, and she says her mommy's admin protection over the city has been uninstalled by the enemy. Still, Ayaka is certain Kazane will reboot soon, and all this loser needs to do is hide under the bed until the mods return. Suddenly, a random teddy bear falls from the ceiling playing a pre-recorded voice note from Weekend, which Ayaka deletes in seconds with zero chill. But the damage is done because the enemy has their IP address now, and Weekend brags to a captured Kazane that she's going to pack them up. Womp womp, the teddy bear's explosion actually blew a massive hole in the wall, giving them a free pass to escape the dungeon like a prison break movie. They hit the stairs and find the exit, but the moment they touch grass, they see the entire city has been hit with a full-blown Shibuya incident. Back at the secret base, Natsume informs the squad that the situation is cooked, with dozens of their mid-tier subordinates currently missing or in the gulag. She says the server headquarters is sending aid, but it's going to take a few business days for the cavalry to actually load in. They discuss how these workshop witches are basically nerds who can't handle a real scrap, especially since Kazane's barrier was the only thing keeping their magic from lagging out. Meanwhile, Takemiya sees the city getting griefed and immediately starts a self-pity arc, convinced that this whole apocalypse is his fault for existing. Ayaka agrees with him, shocking, I know, telling him the tower witches are crashing the server just to steal his hidden cheat codes, making the soy boy tear up. But she tells him to lock in because nobody is permanently deleted yet, and he's the only one who can patch this simulation. She reminds our MC of that time he literally cured her petrification, giving him the mental reset he needs to lock in. They start trekking through the ruins, with Ayaka yapping that they need to hit the workshop core before the tower ops breach the final defense. Walking through the wreckage, Takemiya feels terrible about the city's negative aura and asks why their magic bars are still sitting at 0. She explains the city's barrier is basically a giant sponge that sucked up all the local mana to survive the explosion, leaving everyone's mana pools bone dry. Takemiya asks about the ordinary humans, and she says they're all stashed in a safe server where they can't catch strays. She says the town will auto-repair once Kazane's power reboots, but as she's explaining the law, Takemiya slips on a banana peel like a clown and falls into a pit. Ayaka dives after her pet to protect him, and they both go crashing into the sand like they're playing a goofy platforming game. Despite the fall, Ayaka looks like $1,000,000 with 0 damage, and they continue their journey to the objective. At the same time, some random witch runs into the base with Weekend's explosive teddies glued to her body, screaming that she'll be deleted if they don't hand over Takemiya. But it gets worse, she's taken other witches hostage, and Medusa's NPCs are camping her 24/7. Kasumi is with them too, and since they're tower witches, they're the only ones whose magic isn't currently lagging out like a bad Wi-Fi connection. Meanwhile, Ayaka and her boy run into a tower witch named Gibraltar, who immediately starts throwing hands with no warning. In seconds, she starts styling on Ayaka since our girl has no mana, but then Ayaka remembers she's got that main character plot armor and proceeds to aura farm Gibraltar into the dirt. Gibraltar is completely shook, wondering how she's getting packed up by someone with no magic, but Ayaka reveals she was just using her raw physical hands the whole time. While Takemiya watches in shock, Ayaka flexes that she used to fold witches way stronger than this scrub back when she was just a kid. As they push forward, Heyo pings their dungeon cell to ask for backup, only to realize the birds have flown and they're basically on their own against the mobs. Natsume looks at the suicide bomb and concludes that these devious licks are actually pretty easy to disarm if you're not a total noob. The only problem is they need a tiny bit of mana to finish the job, but everyone is currently at 0%. Just then, Rinon gets a notification that Weekend has been spotted, while Chrono is chilling with her familiar Sebas waiting for the fireworks to start. But once she realizes the main villain is the same witch who once used her as a tool, she decides to go against her dark mode vibes and actually help the good guys. Meanwhile, Ayaka drags Takemiya to the center of the map so he can create a new barrier while Kazin is still in the respawn lobby. Simultaneously, Rinon and the girls corner Weekend outside, begging for a few more minutes of dialogue before the bombs go off. When Weekend says no, Rinon challenges her to a 1v1, but the villain warns them that if her health bar hits 0, every bomb in the city will automatically detonate. Medusa's squad hears this and realizes Weekend is just a mid-tier puppet, and there's a much bigger final boss pulling the strings from the shadows. Kasumi immediately heads out to find this secret villain, while the others stay to distract the mid-boss. Rinon suggests they just wait for the explosions and hope for the best, which is honestly a terrible plan, but whatever. At the town's core, Ayaka warns Takemiya that setting up this barrier will basically suck his mana pool bone dry. But if he pulls it off, all the workshop witches will finally get their magic back and can stop being useless. As he walks to the center, Weekend starts a toxic countdown to the explosion, and Rinon prepares to jump her the moment it hits 0. But just as things look cooked, their magic returns clutch, they defuse the bombs and send her straight to the floor. Back at the core, Takemiya wakes up, and Ayaka tells him he's been sleeping for hours like a total narcoleptic. Despite being absolutely cooked, he insists on returning to the base because he's worried about his squad catching a massive L. Meanwhile, Rinon and Natsume seal Weekend in a magic crystal, taunting her that she can't use her hacks in this high-security cage. But Weekend calls them absolute idiots for thinking she's that easy to beat, hinting that she's still a menace even without her magic. Suddenly, she reveals a hidden suicide bomb on her skin, which nukes her own cell and knocks both of the girls unconscious. Instantly, another witch appears to give her a fresh fit, and Weekend sends Takemiya a mental ping, showing him a vision of a crowded base before bragging that she's scattered bombs that will game-end every single workshop member. The bombs go off and everybody gets yeeted, but Takemiya uses his last bit of mana to heal the entire lobby, while a new witch named Night pulls up on Kasumi and the girls. As Kasumi vows to fight this new challenger, Takemiya keeps spamming his heal hacks until Ayaka has to physically knock him out to save his life. She drags his limp body to a random building to let him rest, and Takemiya starts having a weird dream where he's in class with his mom as a fellow student. Kazin is also there in the dream, yapping about how much she hates the school's toxic culture and mid-tier delinquents. After she folds the bullies, Komachi gets a total girl crush on her and asks if they can be besties forever. Then Takemiya sees a memory of himself moving in with Kazin, and eventually he sees a young Ayaka begging Kazin to let her go to the same school as him. But Bro gets kicked out of the flashback and finds himself in front of Mikage, who explains he's seeing Kazin's memories because he's currently Bluetooth connected to the barrier. Mikage tells him to follow, explaining that Natsume is his niece who's next in line to be the guild leader, and he begs Takemiya to carry her through the next arc. After that, he takes him to the heart of this weird dimension, where they can see millions of stars that are actually the souls of every human in the city. Mikage explains they've been evacuated here to avoid the server wipe, and they'll be sent back once the city's code is fixed and the tower ops are gone. He adds that these NPCs will have their memories wiped so they don't leak the witch lore, and he's the one who has to do the dirty work. In the meantime, Korashi is wandering around looking for her squad when she finds Kasumi in a heated 1v1 with that witch named Night. The others are just spectating like it's a Twitch stream, realizing that Night has copied Kasumi's entire moveset, and they're debating if they should even help. Kasumi screams at them to stop being useless and aid her, but that 1 second of being distracted allows Night to take the upper hand. At the same time, Atori finds Ayaka guarding the sleeping MC, and she hands over a secret scroll containing the enemy's entire strategy and weakness. She also reveals that Chrono, who used to be a massive hater, is now out here hunting tower witches like a certified vigilante. Hearing this, Ayaka asks Atori to watch over her pet, while she flies off to find and game-end Weekend once and for all. Just as Kasumi is about to meet her maker, Medusa finally respawns and petrifies Night in a heartbeat. She literally explodes her into a million pieces, and all her subordinates immediately start simping for her return. But Medusa just strangles them for being lazy bums, while Kasumi was out here soloing the lobby like a goat. She promises to whip them until their cakes are burning and drags them away, right as the two workshop sisters, Laurent and Wine, start chasing after her. At the same time, Yaka is soaring over the city on her broom and lands in front of a giant church to start the final boss fight. Inside, she finds Weekend, who is low-key impressed that Yaka tracked her down without using any cheats. Yaka immediately pushes the fight, but Weekend uses her explosive teddy bears to keep the distance and zone out our girl. She reveals the entire building is stuffed with C4 teddies, meaning Ayaka just walked into the most devious trap on the server. Back in the Shadow Realm, Mikaga drops a lore bomb, revealing he actually swiped the memories of our MC and Ayaka. Before they can even process that, a massive tower spawns in just to catch them lacking. Meanwhile, the church is going up in flames, and Ayaka has to actually dodge for once since she lost her invincibility buff without Takamiya. Despite moving like she's in an Attack on Titan edit, she eventually gets caught in a blast and comes crashing down to the floor. Weekend lets her guard down for 1 second, and Ayaka instantly closes the gap to give her a free high-speed haircut. Weekend throws in the towel when she realizes Ayaka's magic is strictly for defense, meaning her raw physical stats are already up enough to end her. But just as Ayaka goes for the finish, she triggers a hidden bomb to catch her off guard. Ayaka finally taps into her fire powers, and honestly, this just gets Weekend even more hyped for the fight. After a final clash, Weekend takes the W as Ayaka's mana bar finally hits 0. Ayaka flexes that her plan was mid because she forgot one thing: Takamiya is always in her heart, allowing her to draw mana whenever she wants. Thinking the game is over, Ayaka turns around to leave, but Weekend is a total hacker and springs back up, summoning giant monsters while healing her HP. Just then, Mikage sees the witches are closing in on Takamiya in the Star Realm, so he kicks him out back to reality where he wakes up in his bed. Atori tells him Ayaka is soloing Weekend right now, and when he tries to run after her, she physically forces him to sit his useless self back down. She leaves the room for a call from Mikage, who says he beat the witch, but the op revealed she placed a massive bomb inside the star dimension before she left. Mikaga notices the witches are hunting Takamiya, so he boots him out of the dimension, and our MC wakes up back in the real world. Atori drops the news that Ayaka went solo to 1v1 Weekend. Takamiya tries to rush out, but Atori forces him to stay put and recover his HP. She then leaves the room to attend a call, and it's from Mikaga, who has defeated the witch, but that witch told him she's placed a bomb inside the dimension. Weekend drops a massive ultimatum, claiming the entire city is getting deleted in 30 minutes unless the MC is delivered to her personally for some devious deeds. Our soy boy MC overhears the server-wide ping and begs Atori to lead him to his goth baddie, despite being a level 1 crook who can barely walk, so they head toward the chaos. But back at the church, Ayaka is looking absolutely cooked, having been ran through by the entire football team, while Weekend yaps about her year-long devious lick and infinite healing hacks. She explains that she's been hard stuck with low mana for a year, using that time to plant C4 all over the city like a total basement dweller. And since she just spammed her final healing spell, her mana bar is sitting at 0, meaning this terrorist baddie is actually defenseless and ripe for the picking. But just then, she snaps her fingers and triggers a massive explosion that looks like a nuclear mushroom cloud from miles away. While the church turns into a literal barbecue, Weekend sends her subordinate to go loot Ayaka's body from the burning rubble, but hold up because here comes our MC. Takamiya pulls up and finds his mommy barely hanging onto her last point of health, looking like she's about to be permanently banned from the server. Despite his own stats being completely depleted, he begs her to use his hidden power for one last carry right before he passes out from the fever. Somehow this works, and Ayaka gets a massive power-up, instantly packing up the subordinate witch and delivering a generational smack to Weekend's face. She demands the kill switch, but it's too late because Weekend already hit the detonate button on the entire evacuation zone, which is a major skill issue for the humans. The bomb goes off, and Takamiya feels thousands of lives get deleted in real time, while Weekend celebrates her win like a toxic Twitch streamer. Ayaka hits her with another shut-up slap, only to look back and see our boy trying to save everyone with his broken hacks. But his hardware is too weak for these admin perms, and he collapses into the dirt before his waifu can even reach him. Suddenly he's back in the White Room, where Evermillion is judging his life choices, telling him he really needs to stop putting himself in these terrible situations. Meanwhile, Korashi is just strolling through the city when Kasumi's mechanical teddy bear pulls up, begging for a revive because his owner is badly hurt. So Korashi carries our Alabama sister on her back, while her own robot bunny starts getting way too cozy with the teddy bear. Back in the spirit lobby, Evermillion offers a total server rollback, promising to repair the city and revive the dead in exchange for the MC's actual life. But Takamiya actually thinks for once, wondering if his Zero-Is existence is worth it, since if he gets banned, Arca's contract means she's getting deleted too. In the end, he decides to go through with the trade, and Evermillion grants him the admin hacks needed to restore the city in a matter of seconds. Arca rushes over, panicking that he's going to die if he doesn't stop the upload, but he insists on finishing his hero arc like a true simp. He apologizes for trading his life for the city, but Ayaka just embraces him, claiming she doesn't want to exist in a lobby without him anyway. She encourages him to do what's best, but then she pulls a pro-gamer move and offers to pay the fee with her own life instead, instantly falling toward her death. Before Takamiya can even process the trauma, Weekend respawns and shanks him in the back, thanking him for the free health restoration. But this time our boy stops being a wuss and pins her down, telling her that unlike her toxic self, he's only here to save lives, not take them. He roasts her for resorting to a kitchen knife, pointing out that she's officially out of options and has lost the match, which is a massive skill issue. However, he starts losing consciousness from the blood loss, so Chrono pulls up in a tornado and decides to drag Weekend away for some private interrogation. Atori sees them leaving and realizes they've teamed up, so she sprints into the church to check the status of our top-tier waifu. Inside, she finds Takamiya holding Ayaka's lifeless body, while everyone else in the city is busy respawning like nothing even happened. Kasumi finally wakes up and tries to blame Korashi for kidnapping her, but the teddy bear has to explain that she was actually playing support. Despite the save, Kasumi orders an attack, and Korashi's bunny promises never to forget their bromance before the teddy yeets them both like Team Rocket. Meanwhile, Mikage pings Atori to let her know the server is back to normal, praising Takamiya for the carry while our boy is busy crying over his dead mommy. But Mikage thinks she's still in the loading screen, and Takamiya notices her body is actually still quite warm, so maybe she's not permanently banned yet. Mikage reveals that Evermillion only accepts the MC's life, meaning Ayaka's sacrifice shouldn't have even worked in the first place, which is total plot armor logic. Suspecting a glitch, Mikage tells them to draw a magic circle and instructs the soy boy to follow his directions if he wants to revive his baddie. Meanwhile, Chrono is walking Weekend through the city, eventually revealing that she has zero intention of joining her toxic clan. Weekend thinks she still has some hidden bombs left, but Chrono has already cleared all her devious licks and folds her in a matter of seconds. She mocks Weekend for failing a plan she spent years developing, right as it's revealed that the server admins have everything under control. Back in the church, Mikage explains that Ayaka didn't die from the fee, but from breaking her soul contract with Takamiya, so they just need to renew the subscription. Takamiya remembers that a kiss worked before, but being a certified virgin, he chickens out and only kisses her forehead, which obviously does nothing. Mikage screams at him to use his Riz for a real kiss, and just as he's about to be forced into it, Ayaka starts breathing again on her own. Over with the adults, Chrono notices that the ultimate boss Kazin has escaped her cell, and she can't believe how fast she recovered her aura. Kazin reveals she was actually healthy the whole time, but stayed in the dungeon just to let the young players solve the crisis and level up their stats. She demands Weekend be handed over, but Chrono wants to have some fun with her first, leading to a quick 1v1 where Kazin stomps her in minutes. Meanwhile, Evermillion drops some final lore, revealing that years ago Ayaka made a secret promise to transfer all her powers to Takamiya if he ever got packed up. Because of this hidden backup, Takamiya actually saved the city using Ayaka's energy, and Evermillion didn't even have to lift a finger. The next day, our boy wakes up in his room and sprints outside to check on his mommy, finding her waiting for him like the top-tier waifu she is. They walk to school together like normal, and even though her magic bar is still reloading, she assures him she's still a certified menace. Takemiya looks at the peaceful city and wishes they could just keep this vibe forever, but of course, the server is never that quiet for long. Korashi and her squad pull up for a rematch, but even without her magic hacks, Ayaka proceeds to fold them all like wet laundry. Our boy just smiles, realizing that the chaotic daily grind is finally back to normal, and that is a wrap on this insane anime. If you enjoyed watching this loser stumble his way into a baddie's heart, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more unhinged recaps. Peace out, and remember to touch some grass before you end up like our MC. She challenges Kaizen to a duel to settle the score, but Kaizen absolute gapped her and ended it in minutes. Meanwhile, Evermillion reveals that years ago, Ayaka set up a failsafe. If the MC ever died, her contract would break and all her op powers would transfer directly to him. Thanks to that buff, Takemiya inherits her full power and saves the entire city without needing any outside help. Next day, our MC rushes out to check on his girl, only to find her already camping outside his door like nothing happened. They head to school like regular NPCs, and Ayaka promises she's good, even if her mana region is going to take a few days. He looks at the peaceful city and wishes life could just stay this chill forever. Of course, Karashi pulls up with her squad to catch Ayaka lacking, but even with zero magic, Ayaka still beats them into the ground. Takemiya can't help but smile, things are finally back to normal, for now. And that's the end of today's recap. Smash that like button if you enjoyed, and click the video on screen for more fire content.